Hello everyone and welcome to another movie review by Centipede Geek. Tonight I'll be reviewing a film in the name of Carnival of Souls. It's available on the horror streaming app known as Shudder. Directed by a guy by the name of Herc Harvey. Came out in the year of 1961. Currently holds a 4 out of 5 skull rating on their rating system. And it stars actors and actresses such as Candice Hilligoss, Frances Feast, and Sydney Berger. And fun fact real quick, Herc Harvey actually plays one of the ghoul or ghost in the film, and he probably, I don't know which one he plays, but I'm guessing he plays the main ghost that haunts our main female character. I don't want to spoil too much about the movie, but the main plot, I guess if you want to call it, it is one of those kind of, some people might find the film hard to follow, but I think that's almost the fun of it in my opinion. This girl plunges her car over the bridge and she falls in the water, and then shortly after that we find out she survives, and then throughout the film she's haunted by several ghosts, and it all revolves around this carnival. She gets hired as a church organist in this new town that she moves into, and that's kind of the general plot. I don't want to spoil too much, but it all revolves around this carnival in this town that she just moved to. Overall, I really enjoyed this one. I guess when this originally came out, according to Shudder, that it was an initial box office failure, and I thought that was interesting because a lot of times with stuff like this, you would think, well, maybe it's a box office failure because it was campy or it was corny, maybe too much slapstick or nothing like that. That's certainly not the case. That's not the kind of film this is. This film, along with several others I've watched recently, is a real slow burn. There's almost no blood I can think of, maybe a little bit, but when I think about it, I think there's little to zero blood in the movie. That's just not the kind of movie it is. But apparently after the initial box office failure, it apparently became a cult classic according to the info I'm reading here on my tablet on the available on the Shudder app. So it's interesting how films, at one time they're panned, they're trash, people hate them, and then 50, 60 years later, the film's, upwards of at least 60 years old now, since it came out in the year of 1961, all of a sudden people start to like it. So I think that's really interesting how films can, be acclaimed so many years later, even though when they first came out, they were considered trash or, box office failures, as this says. But overall, I really liked it. It's always neat to watch something older, I think. The black and white is pretty cool to look back on. This would probably be cool, I think. It probably already is if they transferred it over to Blu-ray, because the film grain quality on the Shudder app, you can kind of notice how there's a lot of film grain and stuff like that, and I always enjoy stuff like that. But it would be nice to see a film like this, transferred over to Blu-ray. That way they would be able to clean up, because the transfer, you can tell that the transfer isn't very good. There's a lot of film grain and there's some stuff like that. But if you throw all that aside, it's really cool. If you're like me, you don't really care about stuff like that, and the film grain's really cool to see. I love stuff like that. I always like that sort of raw, almost like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you can see a lot of the film grain and you can see a lot of the rawness and sort of grittiness that the film has to offer. I like a lot of that kind of stuff. But if you want a nice slow burn film that is low on the blood but high on the sort of atmosphere and energy that these films tend to have, then I really think you'll enjoy the film titled Carnival of Souls, once again on the horror streaming app known as Shudder, and directed again by the guy by the name of Herc Harvey. I think the main actress does a great job. And the best thing about this film is, besides the slow burn, is just kind of the psychological factor, trying to dig in deep and just trying to understand the little elements of what's going on. And I think by the end of it, about halfway through, I think I caught what was going on. And I definitely, by the end of it, I was like, okay, I definitely see what's going on here. And it really reminded me of almost like a Twilight Zone episode, of the older Twilight Zone, not the newer one, but obviously the older black and white Twilight Zone from back in the day. But anyways, definitely a solid tuned thumbs up from Centipede Geek. So once again, thanks for watching another video review by Centipede Geek. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below.